Hello and welcome to this first look, first patches, first sound video with Per4mer, the new module from the new brand Modbap Modular by beatppl. Now for clarity, I've had this unit to test for some time, and I will say that all the patches filmed in this video are with beta firmware. Some of the functions have changed, lots of cool stuff's been added, but rest assured, anything you like in this video is only going to be better. So Per4mer is a 14 HP stereo in, stereo out, 6-part audio processor that's really friendly for performance or throwing lots of modulation at, and it's been good fun in a kind of studio setting as a send effect around the rest of my system too. Stereo audio comes in and first meets a compressor and a colour processor. Colours can be dry sound pass-through, a classic kind of 12-bit sampler style sound, a more lo-fi, crunchy, bit crushed and downsampled sound, a nice saturation and overdrive, and wax, which is meaning the wax of a vinyl record that adds surface noise and this nice nostalgic vintage kind of feel to audio. That hits a compressor, which we can sidechain, so adding some noise and vibe and having that pump works really well in lots of different styles. That then hits these 4 effects, which is delay, reverb, glitch, which is a beat repeat stutter editor style effect, and a tape stop. As you've probably figured out by now, these are turned on and off with these nice clickless arcade buttons, but they can be latched by simply holding shift and turning them on. You can also gate control these effects on and off. Holding down a button selects that effect, and you can then select its 4 parameters. We can also clock the effects, tap tempo the effects, and we 4 CV inputs to assign and modulate Per4mer as well. The timing index is on screen. As I say, bear in mind this is prototype firmware. There's lots of very good content which I'll link in the description on the new Modbap website. There's a great team behind this, some great minds, creative thinkers and technologists. I've really been enjoying it, and I just wanted to share this video around its release. So without further ado, let's dive in to Per4mer. So this is the patch that we'll use to just run through the features very quickly. I'm clocking this, so my delays are all in time, compressing my signal there. Let's play around with the glitch. The reverb. Let's go fully wet. Small spaces up to big, lush, modulated washes and ambiances. And I'm going to latch on some delay and reverb, simply holding shift. Let's play in some glitches. Maybe adjust its dry wet. Tape stop. Like hitting stop on that platter on a turntable or tape player. different colours. Nice bit of downsampling, some digital lo-fi, more heavily bit reduced sounds, a nice drive, a noise which, especially with that compression, if I turn the other effects off, will sort of duck around the input, and that's going to be really nice when we want to kind of crust up some beats that we're going to make later in this video. So here's a nice pad being chopped up, pitch shifts, big washes of lovely reverb, and that nice tape stop effect. Now removing this cable, this is my input, already with some effects, some modulation. It's the nice rich pad sound, already in stereo. And the first thing I want to do is impart some noise and some character, much like layering in vinyl crackle or tape hiss. And we've got that on the colour there. It's just lovely with that noise. It makes me very happy. Now adding in this kick drum to the sidechain, letting that noise and of course the input duck against my kick. Feels like working with an old lo-fi sample that's just been pushed around by the low end from my beat. Now the effects I have here, tape stop, typical pitch down tape stop that we'll hear through this video. Nice pitched up glitches. And a nice big modulated reverb. Let's make that verb as big as we can. Maybe go 100% wet. And of course you could be creative with gates and the CV inputs. So here I'm just going to play around with some drum breaks right out of the music thing, radio music. And just play around with my effects, fine-tuning the settings of each effect for each of the breaks that I'm going to play in. So here's a nice techno beat, and I'm going to get the colour over to some distortion first. Listen how cool this sounds on this beat. Nice drive, like overloading a mixer. It gives a nice kind of fatness and crispness to this beat. I'm going to play around manually and then get some gates in to trigger these effects. And I'll shut up and let the music do the talking. So I've super over-egged it with my gates there, but that's the point of this first look, just to play around, have some fun, and show you some of the things that you can do. So here's some gated mashing of effects over this bass line. Programming in gates on my sequencer to turn these effects on and off. I'm also sidechain compressing. Let's cycle through these colours. Ooh, that's quite nice. I love that kind of gush and burst of reverb that comes in. So here's a really fun patch where I have the performer in a feedback loop around my mixer. This is my dry beat, and I'm sending that to the performer and the performer back on itself in a feedback loop as a send effect coming back into my mixer. And that's where that kind of feedback high pitch sound comes from. And why those effects are so mangled. But putting this in a feedback loop, as well as gating effects on and off, clocking the effects, adding some compression and some saturation on those colours. It's really nice, interesting, mangled, beat repeated effects feedback trails. So that's it for this video on Performer, my first look and first patch. And I'd just like to remind you that this is prototype firmware. It's since been updated since the time of filming. And there's some even more cool stuff in there. Some of the controls have changed a little bit. Head to the website, all linked in the description for more info and some great content from the team involved. Watch out for more videos on this coming from me. Hit like, subscribe, leave a comment for something you'd like in the full demo video of Performer that I'll do around its release. And you can join my growing and amazing community over at patreon.com/DivKid. See you next time.